Welcome everybody to Swope Park at Cottonwood Falls for the second round of the Glass Blown Open MP40 division, brought to you by Dynamic Discs. First round had some amazing action at Olpe Lake, and the top 10 after the first round, we see Donald Ellsworth, Joe Rovere with big time scores, 51-52. Those are 10-65 and 10-57 rated rounds respectively. David Feldberg, Dixon, Jowers will round out the lead card for the second round, getting started at 3 p.m. at Swope Park. Joe Rovere comes from Colorado, Boulder. David Feldberg. Dixon, Jowers, close by in Emporia. Then we also have Donald Ellsworth, the Giggler. Hole 1, par 3, 335 feet. I haven't played this course, so I can only describe from what I've seen. And this one was giving players a lot of trouble. It's the low ceiling. I was seeing a lot of shots fall short. And the air shots that did reach the basket seemed to be skippy. So, looks really simple and straightforward. But combined with the nerves of a tournament, it could be anything but that.
All right, your attention please. We have our 3 o'clock MP40 lead card tee time. First on the tee from Allen, Texas, Donald Ellsworth.
Donald had a great round at Olpe, and he is looking to continue his charge to stay at the top. Beautiful weather, probably the best weather I've seen in a tournament at an Emporia in a long time.
Next on the tee from
unfortunate worm burner by Donald. That might not even be halfway up the fairway. So much experience on this card. These guys have been playing so long. They are so smooth. They have so much skill, so much talent. Joe opted not to flirt with the low ceiling. He pulls that one way right, and he got over on it, and it turned right even further than he wanted. Dave Feldberg needs no introduction. He has been an icon in the sport for so long now. And that one needs to get down, gets around the tree, and that is looking really good. And that's what I'm talking about. You see that skip action when it gets towards the basket. The grass is a little shorter, and it's not catchy like it is up to 3/4 down the fairway. When I first saw Dave Feldberg, he was living in Eugene, Oregon. This was back in '05, I believe. And since then, he has lived in many, many places. He now resides in Georgia. Dixon with an excellent shot. He will have a drop into. And this one is the opposite. He puts that one up in the air, into the branches. Not the start that Donald was looking for. That one clips a little branch. He's down at the bottom of the ditch. Shouldn't be too bad from where he is right there. Good approach by Joe. And Dave looking like 60 feet away. Oh, he puts it in there so softly. Very nice putt. Perfect speed, perfect height. Donald will take a bogey, but he gets this hole over and done with. On to the next one. And after a nice drive, Dixon will tap in for his 2. So Joe ties Donald, both at 13 under par. And this is getting pretty close. Hole 2, 273 feet. The road is like a river. Both sides are safe. And then you can also be out of bounds on the road, on the asphalt road. Got to be careful how fast you're coming in because that grass is not catching by the basket. It was playing pretty skippy that day. Oh, and that shot's looking really good, but he gets an unfortunate roll, and it rolling upward on the ditch. Fortunate it stays in bounds. Dixon has another nice drive. That one's looking really, really good. Again with the skip and the roll up the other side. The green is so fast. You would have thought that disc was just going to settle nicely right by the basket. And oh, he hits the guy wire. And he is safe. That was so close. Donald is having a bit of a nightmare start. But he has been playing for a long time. He has seen these starts before. He knows what to do with them. Chains right, flipping right over the rim. Unfortunate for Dixon. And now Dave pin high. Leaves it low and gets punished. Puts that one in, settles for his par. And that's a good putt by Joe, and he takes the lead at 14 under par. Stopping the bleeding, Donald gets his par. So after hole 2, we do see Joe get to the lead, 1 over on Donald. Hole 3, this is the first par 4 on this course. We have 4 of them today. And it's pretty straightforward, 487 feet, eagleable, par 4, especially if the wind is your friend. The Memorial Long is out of bounds, the gravel road is out of bounds, and of course the asphalt road. Joe throws that one very nicely, and it gets that skippy little finish at the end, and he is down in the ditch, but he shaped that shot really well.
There it is.
And Dave's is tailing out hard too, and
I love that ditch.
there's a quite stable disc that he threw there for it to come back like that. Overstable. Dixon, that one's way up too high, stalls out. Fortunate to hit that tree. That could have been in the road. And Donald gets over on that one too much. Hits the light pole. He is safely inbounds. Pitching up 10 feet away. Dixon's job is all but done on this hole. Donald gives it a nice go. And unfortunate to land so far away from the basket after such a nice drive. Joe does not connect for his eagle putt. Nor does David. But they have drop-in birdies.
Waited for more trains in the last 2 days.
Okay, and Donald gets back to even on his round. And these are what you call disappointing birdies. They do exist. Hole 4, you cannot see the basket. It's tucked in on the left side. And the basket sits really, really close to out of bounds. I'm talking about on the left side, maybe 15 feet and you're out of bounds. So you got to be careful in how you come in. And the wind can definitely be your enemy. If you go long, you're in real danger. You're off the cliff and into the water. Can't really tell how well Joe ended up. We were asked by the next group to hold off on the drives until they cleared. So after a little bit of a wait, David has his go. And everybody's scrambling off to the right just to see what their shot is doing. That one's got a nice move to the left. And unfortunately, it's a little too good. He slides out of bounds. You could tell. You can tell how much the wind is pushing from right to left. He let that one go at a lower angle, and once it got out to the open, it just picked up into the air.
That's good. That's good.
I do not believe Dave was trying to lay that up. It's scary to see. Look at how it'll be so close behind. You can't quite tell what Joe was. He disappointed, or was he happy that it didn't skip off the top of the basket and go out of bounds? Donald hit that tree. Donald was going way out of bounds. He was flying fast, so that was a good tree to hit for him. And look how close the out of bounds is to the basket. No room for error, and he is just barely out by inches. And Dixon gets his circle 3. Everybody else will get their natural 3s. So close. Hole 5, tunnel shot. A lot of danger. Can't kick left. There is a creek right there to the left, and you have out of bounds long as well. This is a really cool hole. It's just a fun shot. I was dying to play. I didn't get the opportunity to play this course. I will be going back soon to give it a go. Oh, Joe is so fortunate. He lets that one go early. So much trouble on the left side. If you're going to make a mistake to the right. And Joe got really lucky on that one. Dave's going right down the middle. It's got a little too much left to right. Doesn't let it glide further. Dixon also gets fortunate. He pulled that one way off his line towards the right and didn't clip anything towards until he was safely in bounds. This one's got some skip action. Hits early though. He still has a putt left. Joe's a little disappointed on that one. But he's still right there 15 feet away. Dixon with the smart, easy layup. Doesn't get crazy. Oh. Misses just wide right. And now Donald for a 2. Just off the top. He's hitting his lines. Dixon and Joe are happy to walk away with a par on that hole. David and Donald a little disappointed to walk away with a par on that hole. And I'm totally counting on Dixon making that putt. He is a mere 3 feet away. So no change. After 2 holes, still no change. Joe maintains that lead, 15 under par. And here we go, hole 6. This is a cool hole. Look at the water. So much danger. You gotta lace the tunnel perfectly. You do have the high spike hyzer route if you're a right-handed player. That it should take the water out of equation, but you gotta give it enough mustard. Beautiful hole, 300 feet. Joe goes first. Oh, and that's going very nicely. Moving left to right. He is pin high, safely across. Dave is eyeing that spike hyzer, and he sends it. You see, there's a lot of room out there. It is the biggest window, but you can't control what happens after you hit the window. Dixon makes it move left to right. He is safely across. And now Donald is also eyeing the spike. And that one looks to have good distance, good power. And that is so unfortunate. So even though he had good distance, good power on it, he clipped something high, redirected him left, kind of stalled him out. Very unfortunate. He, again, out of bounds by 2 inches. Goes to the drop zone. Not the easiest drop zone. That green is wicked. A lot of terrain. A lot of trees to deal with. Beautiful. Dixon is a very... They're all good putters on this card, by the way. So that was very nice to see. Get a deuce on hole 6. You are a happy disc golfer. Now, Dave. Yeah. Fantastic drive by Joe. Look where he landed. He's up on the flat. Got a little bush to deal with. Gets the birdie. Now Donald for his bogey. Oh, he hits the left side. Uncharacteristic miss by Donald. And he gets a double bogey on hole 6 while everybody else gets their birdie. Big change. Joe now ahead of Donald by 4 throws. Hole 7. This hole has road out of bounds on the right side. And if you go long, there's some concrete blocks. The course is still relatively new. And what they did was they made it a hazard. So your hazard rules apply. Is not a stroke penalty if you land down there. It's all to make sure everybody stays safe. That one looks really good. Skips up and he's right there. Might have a bush to deal with, but that looked pretty good for Joe. Gotta hit this 5-foot gap that's right in front of you. That one looked really good by Dave. So far, no problems on this hole for this very skilled card. Taking advantage of the lack of grass in that area, everybody's skipping up there. And Donald getting the same move. This one's coming in hot. And he is in the bush. Dixon set himself up perfectly.
Yeah, I thought so. It looks like a zigzag.
He gets another birdie.
Back to Donald.
Joe's just barely in the pine. He has to straddle out. Uphill putt. Gets it over the rim. Another deuce for Joe. Gets him to 17 under par for the event. And Dave straddling out to the right to avoid the branches ahead of him. Had a nice group of people following the card today. And it was majestic. It was so fantastic. The weather could not have been better. Oh my. It rises on him, hits the top of the band. He is back in the tree. Donald is having a rough go with it, this front nine. And he drops 5 back behind Joe. Hole 8, our second par 4 of the round, 372 feet. It's an S-shaped fairway. Right, then left, then right, up the hill, 3 levels. Really cool looking hole. Extremely unlikely to see a 2. So we will see players setting themselves up for the approach up to the green. Joe's fades left of the fairway. That one's flirting with the right side, and he escapes trouble, doesn't hit anything. And that was a sigh of relief from Dave. Dixon does not take his chances. That looked like a fast, overstable disc. He wanted to make sure he did not go straight on into the woods on the right. This is an early release by... Oh no, Donald, he's on the fairway, but his troubles continue. And now he's left with a really, really tough shot.
There you go. There's a little puff in there.
It was well executed, but such a difficult lie where he had landed. Joe gets his all the way up to the final tier. Another spike approach for Dixon, and he's up on the green.
Oh. That's fine.
That's the spot you're just talking about. Yeah.
David didn't quite get up there. I thought Joe had gotten all the way up to the top. He did not. Now this is where, unfortunately, Donald has to deal with a little bit of trees, obstacles. So I'm a liar. Dixon apparently seems to be the only one that made it up to the green. Oh, beautiful putt by David. Great birdie. And now Dixon for his par, for his birdie. Beautiful putt. Cards the 3. Donald taps in for his par, as well as Joe. And we go on to the final hole of the front 9. Joe leading the field with a 17 under par. This one's a shorty, and originally it was intended to play long. If it goes into the water long, it'll be out of bounds. But after a rain subsequent to what you're seeing right here, it got really slippery, and they planted flags behind the basket. So now you have out of bounds even closer than where the water was. Safety is always first. David has a long, nerve-wracking putt at the basket if he decides to go for it. Dixon tried to shape that shot and just never went left for him, and it bails outright. And Joe throwing stable putter, stable mid-range, left side. Nobody has gotten anywhere near this basket yet.
Safety because it was slippery the first day?
And there we heard a little bit of the explanation. And we had the tournament director, Steve from Colorado. He was following the card. Scary moment for Joe. That out of bounds is so close. He went for it. And fortunately, he did not get punished. Oh, solid putt by Donald. Gets the only deuce on the card on this hole. He sorely needed that. Everybody else just tapping in. Glad they didn't go out of bounds. Couple of layups. Joe ran it. And fortunately, he is dry still. So during this front 9, David and Dixon shot 24s. That's 5 under par. Joe at 25 is 4 under par. Donald looking to remedy his start. Shot 1 over par on the front 9. Join Flying J Disc Golf as we go to the back 9 at Swope Park at Cottonwood Falls.